Talk Smack.
And welcome to the next episode of Talk Smack with Mac. I'm with my dog Travis in this thing. What's cracking, Trav?
What's up, bro?
Hey, man. I know you live with me and shit, but I appreciate you getting on the pod. Your knowledge and expertise in basketball is ever evolving, as time goes on. So, yeah, man, it's crazy with Travis. I started watching basketball at like 5, like heavy. Travis hated you hated all sports.
This shit was like force fed to me. Nobody wants anything that's force fed. You want that shit to come organically.
Yeah, man. I think you may have picked up a little bit of interest in basketball right before I went to the military, and then after that, when I came back, it was like, what the fuck? So Travis is a basketball
part of it
savant.
though too was you left, so I was like, fuck. I didn't have you, like, you always were watching basketball. So I kind of started watching it maybe in a sense since you were gone, like, getting Levi back in the house.
Yeah.
And to also, give us something to talk about more, which obviously we always have a shit ton of stuff to talk about, but
especially when it comes to them Lakers, though.
And that's what happened. That's what happened. I ended up falling in love with it.
Yeah, man. It's like that sometimes. So what we're getting at is we're going to do a 2021 season outlook for different teams. And it just so happens that we're going to start with the Lakers, the Mambas, the Mambacitas, all of them things. We're going to start with our team. You got light?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. All right. Let's get started, man. So the Lakers, year one, going into AD and LeBron, was a success to say the least.
Yeah.
They come down, they win the championship in dramatic fashion. And, what did they do? They just went to the offseason and Rob Pelinka, the GM god, and Rob Pelinka we trust. He went off.
My favorite quote that I seen was Rob Pelinka went into this offseason as if we lost last year.
Yes.
And I mean, the acquisition team, it doesn't even make sense. I'm still trying to process some of them.
Mm-hmm.
The Montrezl Harrell signing for sure. It's like that doesn't even.
That was ridiculous to me. So, I remember when I was sleeping when it happened. I was sleeping on the couch. You're like, hey, Levi, the Lakers signed Montrezl Harrell. And I went from, hey, I'm tired to I need to go post about this ASAP. Tell me the significance of the Montrezl Harrell signing and how do you feel about that? How do you think he's going to fit?
Well, I think the biggest thing is, okay, so people are going to say the big drawback is you lose JaVale, you lose Dwight, you lose defense. But when you have AD back there and Frank Vogel with that defensive mind, I don't think you're ever going to lose defense. But our biggest issue last season was not being able to score when Braun was on the bench.
Mm-hmm.
And bringing in Montrezl Harrell is literally just
all he does is get buckets.
Scores.
Yeah.
I mean, let's see. Like last season, he put up 18 points a game off the bench.
18 and 7, right?
I believe
playing about like 28 minutes per game.
Still averaging a block, almost 2 assists, and 7 rebounds. So like you're taking Dwight and JaVale, who didn't put up even a quarter of those. Maybe not even that.
Dwight and JaVale combined did not average that many points per game last season. Yes, with the Lakers getting Montrezl Harrell, losing JaVale, losing Dwight, you're losing size for sure. You're losing energy. JaVale brought a lot of energy on the defensive end as far as like a lengthy body that could defend the paint. But Montrezl Harrell, he's the epitome of energy.
And then like, I don't know, bro. I think like people are just pulling at straws trying to say that anything, like trying to say that wasn't an upgrade to the roster. Cause like,
why people say that? Because the Lakers did it.
Yeah.
Everybody, if you're either a Laker fan or a Laker hater. So when the Lakers do big, good shit, people are going to hate. I love it. I fucking love it. I've been dealing with this my entire life since I've been watching basketball, loving the Lakers. Everybody's going to hate.
Especially when they win.
Yes. So let's talk another big acquisition in the offseason. I'll let you take it over. Dennis Schroder. How do you feel about that?
I think he's the biggest one. I think he's bigger than Montrezl Harrell. I think they poised him to be AD's running mate for a long time in his career. I think they want that to be AD's point guard. If you look at his stats, Dennis Schroder has literally gotten significantly better every year. His first season, he averaged 3 points. Last season, he averaged 19 points.
Yeah, so
it's a constant growth every season. He shot 38% from three last year. Another shooter, like not necessarily a shooter, but if you shoot,
he can make shots.
If you're shooting 38% from three while attempting on average 5 threes per game, though,
you're showing that you can shoot.
You shoot,
yeah,
and all that is just spacing for Bron and AD. If Bron and AD have space, the possibilities are fucking endless.
Yes. The biggest thing that I want to say is, back to getting Marc Gasol, people overreact to athleticism sometimes. Whatever Marc Gasol lacks in athleticism, he dramatically makes up for his defensive IQ.
And then people also, I feel like, they confuse athleticism and like strength. So just because he's not athletic doesn't mean motherfuckers are gonna bully him around down there. He's still a big guy. He's
like a fire hydrant.
Cares of himself.
Nothing is moving that man in the middle.
Nobody's gonna post him up and make him like nobody's gonna make Marc Gasol their bitch. Yeah, we're not like we can't depend on him in a sense of like, well, I can't even say can't depend on him, but he's not Dwight Howard, no. But at the same time, like he's gonna do his job and then some. And on top of that, he again spaces the floor on offense.
That is the key. Marc Gasol shot 39% from three last year. 39%. The Lakers are now getting a glorified, less athletic 3-point shooting Dwight Howard to play center. That's what Marc Gasol is at this point in his career. He's not going to put up 15 points a game. He's not going to grab you 11 boards. But what he is going to do is give the opposite team's post big man fits,
and then he's going to space the floor. He's going to do all the things we need. And that's one thing about last season and this season too is I feel like a lot of the people could have played bigger roles and they just were stars in their own roles. Dwight Howard can probably start at center on a team or at least play like
I think at this point Dwight Howard could play 28 minutes a game and give you 10 and 10 for sure.
Probably even more than 10 points. I'd say like 14 and 10 in that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? But
don't be dramatic now.
We don't need that though.
No, we don't.
We don't need, and he didn't do that for us last year because we didn't need that.
He did exactly what was asked of him.
This year, we're looking for people that are stars in their role, and that's their actual role, if that makes sense. Marc Gasol, he's gonna give us exactly what we need. The homie averaged 7.5, 6, and 3 last year. Like that's all we need from him. You know what I'm saying? And that's gonna be the big.
We don't even need that.
Yeah, exactly.
We need him to give the other team's big man fits on defense. If he can hold the other team's opposing center to less of their average. So say we're going into a game against Joel Embiid and the Sixers. If you could give Joel Embiid fits that entire game, you did your job. That's all we need. Make 2 threes.
My thing with matchups like that though is like AD's still there for a reason.
But that's the thing. I'm talking about the longevity of the regular season. I'm not even referring to the playoffs. I'm talking strictly the regular season. I don't want AD to play the 5-1 goddamn minute in the regular season if we don't need him to.
My thing that we talk about it. The homie AD basically plays middle linebacker. He stands right in the center.
So I was going to refer to Marc Gasol as that. Marc Gasol is now our new middle linebacker, the guy or our safety better. AD could play middle linebacker, make all the tackles, make all the stops. But Marc Gasol is the center calling out, making sure guys are.
And him being probably one of the most smartest defensive-minded players in this fucking league still playing, and you have him back there calling out the assignments, calling out the rotations. People talk about it all the time, like being vocal on defense in basketball is the best defense. And, I mean, we're going to have a guy that's calling out everything, that's holding everybody accountable simply because he is the vet there. He is.
He is going to ensure that his 4 other teammates are in the correct position at all times, calling out the picks, calling out the offensive plays, what guys are cutting. He is going to be calling it all out. And he does it, like you said, at the best of the best at the center position in the league.
And it's like, if you really look at the acquisitions we made and then the losses that happened, it doesn't even fucking weigh each other out, bro.
Okay, let's compare. We lost the starting point guard, Rondo.
Okay, so the thing with Rondo, is
People got to remember Rondo didn't even really play the entire
his
season.
stats are a different story. I feel like his actual play doesn't play into the fact is like he is very smart. And then in the playoffs, yeah, I know we're not going playoffs, but like
In the
Rondo,
playoffs,
he's
he
a
went
thing.
fucking off.
Playoff Rondo's a thing.
We seen him rip a player 3 times in a row, 3 possessions in a row, and then drive it back, get a layup. That like he single-handedly changed games. Yeah, regular season Rondo, I can't fucking stand him.
Regular season
I hate
Rondo's
regular,
hand,
especially
like,
with LeBron.
Yeah,
You know, when LeBron and Rondo are on the court at the same time, yeah, you're very smart. But at the same time, I fucking hate it.
But see, when I say that smartness shit, I mean that, and it doesn't even matter as much now. I liked Rondo on our team with the young guys. You know, when we had more of the younger guys,
Yeah, more leadership.
more,
you know,
but
setting the example,
but
setting the standard.
It's like people are trying. Like I see a lot of things, and people are saying Rondo, like Dennis Schroder, doesn't make up for the loss of Rondo. And in my mind, that's
blasphemous.
Stupid. That doesn't even
That's
make
ridiculous.
sense.
Yes.
That's literally, you had a guy who's runner-up 6th man of the year, went on a fucking, you went like a tear in the playoffs himself. I've watched games where Dennis Schroder was taking over off
against the
bench.
Rockets.
Yes. So it's like, and again, we're making the team younger. We're doing a long-term plan for AD.
Dennis Schroder, 27, right?
26.
26. Alex Caruso, 26. Kyle Kuzma, I believe, is 26. And then AD is 27. Those are 4 guys on the same timeline that can grow and be the future of the Lakers post LeBron.
With AD already showing that he's, I would say, completing his game more.
Oh, yeah. We talk about it all the time. He's lethal from everywhere. People could argue and say that he's not a lethal shooter from 3. Look, he started horrible from 3 last season. That impacted his 3 percentage as a whole dramatically. You know, he started slumping. But then you go to the finals, and this man shoots, 53% from 3? And he was taking threes. It's not like he wasn't shooting them. Like he made a couple. He was fucking busting.
He had the 66% true shooting. It'll give me every time. He missed 2 free throws in the entire postseason, and we won the fucking finals. So that was like 30 games, or not 30 games.
It was like 18 games or some shit.
That's his whole entire career is like 30 games. No, not even. Maybe. I don't know where that came from. What I'm getting at here is, regardless though, we like in the playoffs, AD was not just rim running and catching lobs.
Mm-hmm.
In the playoffs, AD was, I've been fucking saying it. People might crucify me.
He's closer to KD than he is to Giannis.
Yeah, 100,000,000%. He does not rely on. He has athleticism. He uses his athleticism, but he doesn't rely on it.
But he's so skillful.
He's skillful.
Like we were saying,
he was saucing motherfuckers up in the fucking mid range.
Yes,
in the mid range.
He was coming off a post. He was spinning off his going to his shoulder, going to the inside, going to the outside, turn around, pump fake 3 mid range shots. He was doing anything
and then the thing with AD is you add that into his game, and now what he's gonna do is that pump fake's gonna turn into a quick
easy
to
dunk
the basket.
Yes.
So it's like,
and if his 3-point shots falling, good night.
And it's gonna have to. I just feel like over time you shoot more, more fall. So it's gonna happen, and it's like you could tell he's comfortable there. That's where he wants to play his game.
And Rob Pelinka is telling him to shoot more.
Hey, they're like, baby, we want you to do what you want to do.
And you got to think like longevity too.
Mm-hmm.
Say he goes and he starts shooting more threes. Okay. Now he's not going on the inside and getting beat up as much.
And and then one thing I've noticed too is there's always been that he's injury prone, that narrative that they've tried to push on AD. And I watched him play all season. People try to say he's paper, he's glass, he just breaks, and he doesn't even try.
AD got fucked up many times, and he keeps coming.
He keeps playing, right?
Yeah.
He gets fucking fouled hard. Big men and superstar big men, they just get fouled harder than most people because that's how it's gonna work. Mm-hmm. He gets fucked up. And I've seen him get hurt a bunch. He always keeps playing. The times where I've actually seen him get hurt and they're like, you got to sit. He still wants to keep playing. And that's with LeBron. That's with a good team. That's with the team that's rolling. Bro, when he was playing with the Pelicans, he was literally fucking gonna die just to win a game.
Mm-hmm.
So of course he
to
was
make,
getting hurt more.
put up 40 and 20
He didn't
for them
have
to
Braun
compete.
coming out in the second half putting up 30 fucking points or something stupid to make it to where it's like he got a rest even though he was playing.
Mm-hmm.
That was him all game. The whole entire game. You could go watch games where AD puts up 50, 20 and like 7 blocks and they lose.
Mm-hmm.
If he does that on the Lakers, we're winning by 40 that night.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so.
Because that's the thing about the Lakers is that last year, teams, they were like, hey, if our offense is shit, the other team's not scoring. This season, I feel like that's going to be even more, in my opinion. Hey, we're going to shut you down. I could see them holding teams to 100 points.
Yeah, because then we didn't even talk about Wesley Matthews, who you just showed me that stat.
Yeah, let me read this stat. So the Lakers are swapping out basically Wesley Matthews and Danny Green. Wesley Matthews is projected to start. I don't think he's going to, but say he fills the 2-guard spot that Danny Green was holding down last season. Danny Green finished. Now, I know this is, stats and how much do you want to look into it versus what really happens. It's your opinion to take. But according to FanSided, ESPN's defensive real plus minus, Danny Green was 15th in the league at the shooting guard spot at 1.14. On the other hand, Wesley Matthews finished last season ranked second among all 2-guard spots at 2.88. So according to that stat, he's making twice as much the defensive difference compared to Danny Green.
See, and then
so I guess he's deflecting more passes, getting more turnovers.
Of course, I definitely take those advanced stat analytic bullshits.
You got to take it with a grain of salt, for sure. But
at the same time, that at least says on paper, in my eyes, that Wesley Matthews should at least be as good as what Danny Green was doing, right? And then if you look at it in the bigger spectrum, we flip Danny Green and a useless pick for Dennis Schroder, who is a super upgrade on our roster, and still basically got Danny Green back for nothing, for less money, saved money.
Way less money.
So, I mean, come on now. At the end of the day, that's a good move. Yeah. Danny Green did not perform last season. I love Danny Green. He was one of the favorite players on the team simply because defense.
You talk about him all the time. You loved him. You loved him.
He did not perform. So was I mad? No, I couldn't be. He still came and won a championship. That's what he does. He goes. He wins
I fuck with Danny Green, bro. Regardless of his shooting woes, that dude competes every game.
And if he would have stayed, I wouldn't have been upset at all. I would have been happy.
No.
But you don't not flip him in a useless first round pick like that for Dennis Schroder, who was runner-up for 6th man of the year.
You got to play into account that Dennis Schroder is on the last year of his contract, and he may leave. But if that trade gets us another championship, you make it 10 times out of 10.
Yeah, because Danny Green was on the last year of his contract.
No, I think he had 2.
We signed him for 2, and he played last season.
I believe he signed at 3. Don't quote me on that, but I believe he signed like a 3-year, $39 million contract, similar to like KCP, what KCP signed.
Speaking of them, bro, like after
I'll have to check that later. I'll tell you.
After all, when you think about that, though, we just talked this whole time about the new acquisitions, why we still have a lot of that core, like you were saying. You still got Alex Caruso there, who showed that he could play starting point guard minutes in the finals, who literally, he has athleticism, too, with this. He looks like you know what I'm saying? He be banging that motherfucker, so.
Damn, no, it was a 2-year, $30 million contract. He got a back contract.
That's what I'm saying. So.
$15 million per year. Good for you, Danny.
So,
but hey, which from the best? He's on the Sixers now, and that Sixers team looks nice.
Not to get too on.
They turned it around a little. If
Danny Green's hitting shots, in my opinion, you push him to like a 3, small forward, because you got Ben Simmons who can't shoot. But if you have Seth Curry, Danny Green, Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris, and Joel Embiid. That's a squad.
Lineup. But we'll talk about that. We'll do a 76ers Projections. Let me know in the comments if you want me to do a 76ers projection. But as I was saying, back to the Lakers. Let's do their starting lineup. Possible starting lineup based on our professional opinion. So I'll say what I think, and then I'll say what I want. I think it's going to be Dennis Schroder, KCP, Bron, AD, Marc Gasol.
That's also the one I think.
It sounds logical.
Well, yeah.
Because then now what I want is Alex Caruso, KCP, Bron, AD, Marc Gasol. So switch out Alex Caruso and Dennis Schroder. Because when when Caruso starts in place of him, LeBron's still at point guard like we ran last season. Alex Caruso doesn't really need the ball in his hands, so he could play off ball, cut to the basket. Hopefully he shoots a little bit better from three next year. But that defensive cohesiveness
he sets that tone in the beginning of the game.
Man, yes. He's shutting the other team's best offensive player at the one guard position down, which is very important in the league because all point guards in the league score like a motherfucker.
And then in the same instance, though, that's when Bron comes out. Usually Bron comes out, AD stays in for a couple more minutes. You bring Dennis Schroder out now on a team that already probably made a substitution or whatever. He's gonna start torching people. He's fresh. He has fresh legs, and he's coming in after Bron and probably Alex Caruso and shit. We're locking motherfuckers up, making their life miserable. Now he's gonna come in and bring a whole different presence on offense. You know what I'm saying? And then he can start lighting people up. That's one thing I think that's gonna happen with this team, regardless, is there's so many good pieces. And there's going to be so many good lineups that they queue.
There's going to be nights when one guy plays more than he usually does. And then one guy sits a little. Yes. Whoever
matches up better defense.
Let's say Bron and AD are closing games for sure.
No matter what. If we're not up.
Yeah. LeBron and AD are closing for sure. The other three players, who do you think is going to
be out there? But that's what I mean, man.
I think it's going to be dependent on the opposing team, because if they're running small ball, we could possibly see Markieff.
That's what I'm saying.
In there at center.
Morris is still out. Down there again. Kuzma,
he played great in the finals, shooting above 40% from three.
And then defense, he sets a tone too.
Kuzma, he was closing games in the finals at times.
And Kuzma's defense has made big strides. People don't talk about.
And the one guy that started closed all games in the finals was Alex Caruso, man. The dude's a dog.
That won't change, I don't think.
I think he's closing games. I think he doesn't give a damn who's starting. Let Schroder start. That's why I think he's going to come off the bench. Let Schroder start, and I'm closing this thing.
But see, right now, that thing that Schroder said, that's before camp. That's before they've really talked. I think
if Bron goes in there and says, hey, man, you're coming off the bench, and AD is like, yeah, man, you're coming off the bench. We need you to go be that man off the bench for us.
Because that's the thing. It won't even be a bench thing. We just have different units. Yeah.
They might start. You may not be starting the game, but you're playing more minutes.
You're playing the whole maybe second and third quarter though, to get us over that hump or something. Mm-hmm. And then it just depends on him. But it's like when you have Alex Caruso, Alex Caruso is gonna draw the charge with a minute left in the game when we're down 5. You know what I'm saying? Or even up 2. He's going to draw the charge to get us the ball back. He's going to fucking get that deflection that gets it to AD. He's going to get that backdoor cut.
Get the fast break.
And slam it down. Bitch. Don't give it a chance to not
play smart basketball.
And he does that. And, that's one thing that I can't – maybe I'm not giving Dennis Schroder enough credit for. I haven't watched him play enough. I haven't really watched him play. I've seen what he could do, but I haven't watched him play.
That boy been balling since he was on the Hawks.
But
man.
I'm saying I watched almost every Lakers game last season. I don't watch every OKC game. I watch them when they play the Lakers. I might watch it if it's on TV, and I watch it in the playoffs.
And you always read stats.
Yeah. And I'll watch highlights too. So, but that doesn't give you the full
scope of what they bring. Like Rondo, he could have like a 5-5-5 game, but he dominated. So I see what you're saying.
So it just depends, and I think that's what we locked in on last season was the groups that played the best together, and it didn't matter minutes and whatever. It's just who was playing, who was meshing, who was had the hot hands. Of course, Bron and AD they're kind of gonna get whatever they get regardless, but I think that's gonna be a big thing that's preached though too. Is like, hey, like we just have to do what's right to win, and that's how we get to the championship.
If everybody buys in and that chemistry is strong, like last year they had, a lot of guys saying this the best chemistry I've ever had. If they could have something similar to that, or their own whatever that is, this team, looks like they should on paper go to the finals. They're better.
The finals, they should have a good season. Because I mean, last season, 100%. So it really just depends on how everybody gets used. But I mean, with the team like that, there is not too many wrong ways you can go in that. Like, and with how they performed last season, with older and people could say not as good people, maybe more washed up, maybe more whatever, and they won the finals and they looked like a finals team. They started like 24-3, I think. You remember they had the fucking crazy start and everybody was like, it's because they're playing bad teams. And it's like, all right, bro. Like,
and they just kept going.
Just kept rolling.
So that was crazy, man. I've never seen a team like they just threw pieces together after the AD trade and then they just killed it.
And see, my thing is that's why I don't think it's a complete anomaly. I think it's just the organization. I think it's Bron. Yeah. I think it's AD. I think it's Rob Pelinka.
The fans.
I think it's Frank. The fucking
the
fans.
feel that you get is like playing for the Lakers just different.
Even with no fan, people talk about it all the time. Like Lakers Twitter, that shit's insane.
They'll eat you alive, or they will make Alex Caruso get Defensive Player of the Year votes.
They will make his ass be an all-star.
All-star, yeah.
So it's like that's
the power of Laker Nation is crazy. Southwest, baby.
Every fucking game is a home game when there's fans. There's Lakers fans every game.
I mean, I heard Kobe chants throughout my life in away games all the time. I heard it, at a Celtics home game. So
it's like it's different. Yeah, and that's why I think it's gonna happen again. I mean, of course,
bearing injury.
Different season, different scope, different people. Of course, there's gonna be different whatever's happening, but I just can't see them like ceiling is winning the finals and then their absolute basement is getting knocked out in Western Conference. And I don't see that happening. I don't see a better team than them in the Western Conference. The Clippers got worse. And that's in my opinion, that's with the Warriors without Clay. That broke my heart, but that's the only real, I think, like,
we'll do a Warriors outlook for sure.
Is the Clippers.
Because that running gun, even next year, man, Clay comes back, they keep Kelly Oubre. That's a lot of firepower, man.
Firepower, athleticism. Well, I don't know.
Even without Clay, I think they're a lock to get to 8.
My thing is with Clay is, those are shitty injuries, but his game, he runs so much.
Yeah, that's, but
he's a dog. He's coming
medicine's getting better, doctors are doing their thing. Technology is taking over. You see guys like Richard Sherman tear their Achilles and come back and be a fucking all-pro corner again. So, I know it's different sports, but it happens.
Yeah, man.
Let's see how KD comes back this year. Then that will give us a kind of like an outlook of how different it was. Kobe comes back. Kobe's older. It was, damn near 10 years ago. Shit has changed in that much time. They, more research and shit. So we'll see, man. I pray everybody loves Clay. I want the kid to come back, man.
I want the Warriors to be good.
Yeah, the game ain't the same without the Warriors doing their thing.
But without all that, bro, it's like the Lakers, in my opinion, are clear cut in the West.
Yeah. So you said you want the starting lineup to be what I said. What do you think the starting lineup is going to be?
No, I said I think. What you said you think it's going to be is what I think it's going to be. It's KCP is going to start. He always has. Dennis Schroder said he wants to start. They're going to give it to him. So I think it's going to be that.
Yeah. What do you want?
I want Alex Caruso up there too, 100%. I
And then
think he
who had the
earned it.
two? You want Wesley Matthews, huh?
I don't know. That's my thing right now. Is I want to keep it open. Like I want to see how everybody plays together because that's
I was
how it's
gonna
gonna
say the
determine
reason I
it.
want KCP because he plays so good with Bron.
Yeah,
Let's talk about the second unit. We talked about the starters. Let's talk about the guys that are gonna get us over the hump.
regardless, our second unit is gonna be the best in the league, at least on paper.
Because no matter what, you got Montrezl Harrell and Kyle Kuzma coming out.
We have a Pistons starting five bench unit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so Kyle Kuzma and Montrezl Harrell, I believe, are gonna give them at least 32 points between them coming off the bench.
damn, bro.
16 each.
And Kyle Kuzma's starting to hit his threes way more. And
he was playing, and his defense, though, bro, he was hustling.
This team is scary.
Yes, Kyle Kuzma could be a second guy, a second option on some teams.
So
he's like, our eighth man or some shit right now.
Just so much talent everywhere. Like it wasn't even a knock at the Pistons saying that. It's literally like our second unit is that
good. Yes,
because regardless who's gonna be out there, you're gonna have Alex Caruso probably. Let's just say whatever.
Let's confirm that we think that Schroder, KCP, Bron, AD, and Marcus Gasol are starting.
So then if you go bench, it's Alex Caruso, Wesley Matthews,
Kyle Kuzma, Montrezl Harrell, Markieff Morris. That's 5 guys right there that could literally come into the game at any one 5-6 minute span and do their thing.
Like,
let's start at the top. You got Alex Caruso and Wesley Matthews. If you're talking about numbers wise, and I could vouch for Alex Caruso. They're both dogs on defense. They're dogs.
And
they're shutting shit down.
Is if Wesley Matthews is known for defense already, and maybe he doesn't always have the intensity on it, I don't know. Because again, I can't say it. I haven't watched enough of it.
He's gonna come here and fucking bust his ass because everybody does it.
That's the culture there.
Yes,
they set that last season, and it's gonna stay.
He's not gonna. He's gonna say, "Oh,
this is what we do here.
I'm bringing this shit."
Because when you
on every single play,
when you have everybody there doing that, bro, that's scary. And then if he's hitting his threes, that's a big thing. If the Lakers spent a lot of their season last season, a lot of their people in cold streaks and not hitting their fucking shots. The nights the Lakers hit their shots, and I'm not saying the nights they shot lights out, because
the nights that we shot 36% from 3 or up, we won by 20.
They're unstoppable.
Yes,
because they're
the nights that we shoot 5 for 25, we may lose by 6.
So it's like,
and this team is better. That's crazy.
So, yeah. So you got Alex Caruso, Wesley Matthews, dogs. They're gonna set the tone on defense. We don't even need him to score, because when you go further down, you got Kuzma. Kuzma's gonna score.
You got Kuzma and Montrezl Harrell. So the other guys are just like, hey, let me shut down my guy and make a 3. Because who would it be if would Montrezl be the power forward? Montrezl be the center? Markieff, that's like super small ball, stretch you out.
It's interchangeable.
Oh, Montrezl will play the 5. Yeah, it's interchangeable, but Montrezl will play the 5 because he doesn't shoot threes, so it's more a traditional center. Markieff Morris could play the power forward spot, stretch it out. But
then I think it'll change up on
change
on defense.
It doesn't really matter.
Because in my opinion, I think I'd rather have Markieff Morris on their center, depending on the guy.
Montrezl Harrell's a strong dude.
So, but that's what I'm saying. Regardless, those are dogs, bro.
Yeah, or you can even have AD play the 5. You'll always have either Marcus Gasol or Anthony Davis at the 5 spot, and then maybe for 5 or 6 minutes you can run a small ball unit. If it's working, you stick to it. If it's not, those 5 minutes is to give AD and Marcus Gasol, time.
Well, and then again, with how it being positionless, you can have AD and Markieff is still kind of playing a center position, kind of in a way, and AD does whatever he does. Like, that's another thing, is it's a very versatile team. Now that I'm talking about it, especially that second unit.
You could even try Kuzma as center. They had bad results in the past. I don't know if it would change. I'm talking about if all else, everybody's in foul trouble, put Kuzma at center.
And then, I mean,
Put that boy Jared Dudley
we
in there.
got Jared Dudley. He'll go out there, hit a three, and punch somebody in
Yeah.
the mouth.
Hey, hit a 3, take a charge, and get the fuck out. Go smoke a cigar after the game. That's Jared Dudley,
where my
baby.
ring
He
at?
said, "Yeah, let's run it back. I
He
need
called
number 2."
And he called Rob. He said, "So what I'm thinking is another vet minimum."
Hey, so I shared this thing on Instagram, man. It was Jared Dudley breaking news. It's Jared Dudley said Jared Dudley signs the 1 year vet minimum, right? And then somebody messaged me, they're like, "Why is this breaking news?" I hit him back. I said, "Because Jared Dudley's a fucking the GOAT, boy." I said, if anybody touches LeBron or AD in a wrong way, Jared Dudley's coming to fuck them up. And you always need one of those guys.
The homie Elmer Fudd, boy. I'm not mad at all.
Oh, man.
That's a good team, bro.
So let's do a record prediction. What you got?
We're going to win at least 60 games. We'll win 60 games. We're on pace to win like 64 last season.
How many games do you think LeBron will play? Or how many minutes per game? Do you think his minutes will be reduced?
He's going to play a lot of them. Minutes, that's going to all change. The thing is going to, like, last season when we were rolling and we would let her, my bad, I can't talk. We're going to beat the fuck out of a lot of teams. Bron's not going to have to play a lot of minutes.
He said, let me break this down real quick. Let me say it in, the easiest way possible.
Like,
he's not going to need to play a lot.
There's going to be a lot of fourth quarters where Bron and AD are on the bench.
I think the first month of the season, he plays very minimal minutes, maybe around 22 a game.
I think that depends.
But he's not that guy. It seems like LeBron's like, hey, look, man, I'm fucking playing.
If we're winning,
think Christmas comes, he's playing, whatever. He's playing a lot, unless we're dogging somebody.
Bron, he'll sit, he'll post up. But if we're losing, I don't think Bron's going to put us in a hole because he's like, I don't want to play yet.
Yeah.
It is what it is. They're not in a bubble no more. They're going to see their family. I think it's going to be, in my opinion, this NFL season has been fucking stupid and not taken care of the right way. And the NBA is not going to follow suit. This shit's going to go very smooth, I think.
Yeah.
So it's going to suck. But, bro, it's basketball. It's what they do.
Everybody in the world right now in America.
I got work in 2 hours. I don't want to go. I'm going to go. You know what I'm saying? So you're
everybody. Hey, you gotta change up in weird times in the world. So you got to make sacrifices, and I appreciate them doing it. But, yeah, man, it's going to be good. I don't
think they're going to – because the only one that's sitting is going to be Kawhi, man. We all know that his knee will explode if he plays. His quad.
All right, man. So before we close this out, let me ask you. All right, I'm going to ask you a few stats. You tell me higher or lower. Lakers, 65 wins.
Lower, but not by a lot. Or like that. I think it's going to be about like 64, honestly, what I was going to say.
LeBron stats, 25 points.
Lower.
9 assists.
Higher.
7 rebounds.
Higher. There's not as much length on this team. I think he averaged more last season with JaVale and Dwight and all them. So I think he's going to average more this season with Montrezl Harrell and shit.
You think his shooting percentage is going to go up now that Marc Gasol is going to be able to stretch? So he'll be able to have more room to drive to the basket?
That and he just looks like he's becoming a better shooter all around.
Yeah. So he shot like 35% from 3. So he was pretty solid last year.
And all that, so.
He was trash at free throws, but he finished strong, and in the playoffs, it was great. So we'll see if that transitions over to the following season. Lakers repeat, yay or nay? We going, yeah, dog.
Yeah, that's not
hell yeah, man. The Lakers are looking dope as fuck.
In my opinion, we're gonna win every year.
The season starts soon. I'm really excited for it. Initially, the quick turnaround, I was against it. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, oh man, it's too soon. I wanted to want it more, but I'll be honest, man, I can't fucking wait for the basketball seasons to start up.
And it sounds fucked up, but the only teams that really messes up is the Lakers and the Heat. There's teams that haven't played since fucking forever.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
it's like you got it. And to keep some normalcy, I think it's good to rush it so they can get it back to what everyone's used to.
Okay.
So it's like you gotta take your fucking bullet somewhere. You know, you gotta take that stride somewhere and fuck it.
Yeah.
That's where we're at. Like you said, people got to adapt right now. So they do this season. So next season it's gonna be normal.
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Fingers fucking crossed.
All right. Well, appreciate you getting on, man.
Of
That was a dope ass conversation as always. We always talk some good shit when we're talking about sports, particularly the Lakers, but we can go on about every other team. We are going to be doing some similar outlooks like this, but a more condensed version of a handful of other teams. I'm pretty excited to do that with you, man. I think it's going to be good. And then a big one that I really want to do with you is that 7th and 8th seed in the Western Conference. Yeah. That's tough. I was just looking at it. Real quick, I'm going to read off the teams. You tell me if you think they're going to make the playoffs. Lakers.
Yes.
Clippers.
Yep.
Nuggets.
Yeah.
Jazz.
Yeah.
The Blazers.
Yeah.
The Warriors.
If Steph is healthy, yeah.
The Rockets. Right now with the same team.
Yeah. Yeah. Mavs, yeah.
Mavs.
They're making it.
That's 8.
That's already
right.
8.
What about the Suns?
They're a fucking X factor and then some.
What about the Pelicans?
X factor and then some. They can, but who knows? Because the Suns historically have underperformed and they got Chris Paul, right? That's what they picked up. That was their big guy. And I'm not hating on Chris Paul. Look at what he just did with OKC. The Suns are arguably a more talented team with DeAndre Ayton, who I think Chris Paul is going to make him look fucking crazy.
Amazing.
And
he makes everybody look
Devin
amazing.
Booker. So, man, but the Mavs, in my opinion, there's no way they don't make it. The Rockets, I think that team could fucking implode at any moment. Yeah. So that's a weird.
So you think to pick on. If they fall out, the Suns could be in, but it's like that's so much talent in the top 10. The Pelicans, they look great with Zion and Zoe and BI.
The only reason I didn't give them a for sure, like, oh fuck, is just because they're all young.
But bro, they picked up Steven Adams. Who's the other big? Eric Bledsoe.
Yeah,
he's just as good as Drew Holiday. Just he can't shoot as well, but he's a dog coming off the bench. They picked up Eric Bledsoe, Steven Adams, and B.I., Lonzo, Josh Hart, Zion. That's one hell of a team down there in New Orleans.
That front court is fucking terrifying.
Yes.
Steven Adams.
They're bullying people. They're disgusting. And then Zion is Geo-dude that can jump high. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, bro. It just all depends. Those back half teams, there's going to be a lot of competition there. There's not going to be anybody that slips in nowhere.
It's going to be a fight to make the playoffs.
That's why they need to change fucking playoff.
It needs to be a 16-team format, 100%. No Eastern Westerns. Because when you have teams like the Magic making the playoffs over the Suns potentially, or the Rockets, or the Pelicans or the Mavs, that's insane.
I've only said Mavs so much
because Porzingis is
terrible.
Yeah, the Mavs, Porzingis is gonna miss, the first chunk of the season, maybe quarter or third. If, say, God forbid, Luka goes down, that team could lose some games. Now they're fighting for the 8th spot. It's ridiculous. But we'll do, like I said, we'll do an 8th seed in the Western Conference video another time. Appreciate you getting on. Lakers Outlook. Peace.